This is our parade of sponsors in the Butternut Bread 07 car. That's Mark Henderson, Cleo Jasper in the Jasper Racing number 93 machine. Bill Pillmore in that Snap-on Tools number 53 machine. In the Engelman number 34, sponsor Tony Barton and the Bomb Squad division. Don Scroggins in the Don's Painting 03 car. In the Ross's Furniture full covered in 88, that's Dennis Sitton. Ron Fedalra in the Show Me Muffler number 71 car. Doyle Alexander in car number 3, the Alexander Racing Modified. Russell Graves out of Fairplay, Missouri in the Butler number 73 machine. James Kelly Sr. in the Arnold's Garage sponsored number 44 Grand American Modified. And Jim Hunt out of Springfield, Missouri in that Cameo Carpets number 15. And Bob, this is a chance for the Bombers, Modifieds, and Super Stocks to show off some of their sponsors around the Friday night action track.
And I imagine, Ronnie, and you know an awful lot about this, having quickly walked through pit road, that a lot of heads are turned, a lot of cars are jacked up, and the late model crews and drivers are doing an awful lot of work.
All that they are, as the conditions just about ideal and stable. And Bob, this is a chance for some of the crewmen to come out here. They get to take a nice, easy 3/8 mile asphalt ride around the Friday night action track. And this is the backbone behind these racers every Friday night and every Saturday night, because without these guys that work on the cars during the week, these pit crewmen, it'd be hard for these drivers to get out here.
It takes an awful lot of things to make racing possible, Ronnie. You got to have the facility, you got to have the driver, you need to have the equipment, you got to have a solid crew behind you, and even more important than any of that, you've got to have the support of the fans, and it's been coming out in record numbers this year between the Friday night action track and the I-44 Speedway as well. If you're missing any one of those elements, you're not going to have a successful racing program.
That's right, and not only do you see what we call the major sponsors, that's what we look at the rear quarter of the cars. There's also some other little associate sponsors. I see Hard Times Dairy is on Dennis Sitton's number 88 car. As they shut them down, ladies and gentlemen, what do you say you give a big round of applause for all our competitors in tonight's parade of sponsors.
And fans, as we do each and every Friday evening at this time, we ask you to please rise for our pre-race invocation and remain standing for our national anthem. And representing Raceway Ministries, here is Frank Stark.
Let us bow our heads as we go to the Lord in prayer. Our Father and God, as we bow in your presence tonight, we want to thank you for this beautiful race night. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us throughout this day. We pause once again to remember to pray for Ernie Irvin and for his recovery and for his family. Thank you for the good news that we're hearing concerning his improvement. And our Father, we pray for the safety for everyone involved in tonight's activities. Thank you once again for the great country in which we live. Our Father, we take time just now to pray for the leaders of our nation. With all the decisions that they have to make, may they truly be made under the guidance and the leadership of thee. For we ask it all in the name of Jesus and for his sake. Amen.
Russell Graves, driver of the Jump Stop Oil Company number 73 Modified. This is your last night at the Friday night action track. Are you ready to go racing?
Let's go racing.
Let me ask everybody, grandstand and wild side, are you ready to go racing? Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Friday night action track here at Bolivar Speedway, USA, and the Ozarks Coca-Cola NASCAR Winston Racing Series. As tonight, the cars and stars of the Pacific Coast region will be in
Super Stock Racing.
Oh, and we call them, of course, the Super Stockers rolling out with those restrictor plates and the two-barrel carburetors. And here is the first qualifying heat race of the evening. Danny Meyer leads them out in car number 21, Kenny Thomas in 75, Lebanon's Brian Brown in car number 2, and Tim Stock in 52. Steve Bias in 79, Jody Whitener in car number 18 out of Springfield, Johnny Cates in 94, Jim Cates in 91. Johnny Freeby will be driving the old-timers car here this evening. It's fun, and Miller, Missouri's Wayne Johnson back with us in car 0. And of course, Bob, this will be an 8-lap qualifier, and it's very important to finish in the top 6 of your heat race.
If you do that, you're allowed to use your point average and figure into the inversion. In the staging area now, the fast car qualifier for the Super Stocks. And Ronnie, I think the lights will go off this time around.
Oh, that's right, as they're going to go a little faster speed, you see, this evening, because of the little bit of unusual cool conditions. Russell Graves told me they wouldn't even get the tires hot. Remember, this is an 8-lap qualifier. Top 6 will be on the inversion here this evening. Teddy Thomas out of Springfield to set the pace for the race, while last year's Bomb Squad, Ozarks Coca-Cola champion Danny Meyer to his outside. Row 2 is Tim Stark and Brian Brown. Row 3, Whitener and Bias, the Cates brothers in row 4, Freeby and Johnson. The green flag is out, and we're going to go racing. And 3 wide, they go right on to turn number 1. Tim Stark dives that Pontiac slow, while Meyer hangs the high group, and here comes Teddy Thomas. 3 wide, now they make it 2 wide. Stark to the inside, Meyer to the outside, wheel to wheel. They come off of turn number 4. Lap number 1 is done with Danny Meyer out in front. Stark goes to the inside lane. Now Brian Brown and Jody Whitener making their move. Off of turn number 2, they roll by the wild side. It's Stark getting along with Meyer, wheel to wheel and door handle to door handle. Meanwhile, Jody Whitener now establishing himself as they complete lap number 2, and Tim Stark takes over control. Stark in control, Meyer right there with him, but keep your eyes on the rookie driver, Jody Whitener out of Springfield. Meanwhile, Lebanon's Brian Brown has now come up on that outside lane. It looks like the start of the dash once more, as Tim Stark holds about half a car length later, does he? Because Meyer goes alongside of him. Right now, Teddy Thomas is on the bubble. Here comes Johnny Freeby from the notorious Freeby Brothers Racing Team. By the wild side, Stark and Meyer once again wheel to wheel, and we got a spin down the back straightaway. Jim Cates loops it. He's in good shape in 91 as we stay under green. Meyer hangs the outside. Stark on the inside. Brown takes a wild ride on the wild side as the yellow flag now comes out.
Cates doing that agriculture racing, Ronnie, that 91 machine. You can see all the water that we've had in the last 24 hours or so. And that 91 car went right smack dab through it. You might need a tow truck to pull him out of that. You know, we talk about giveaways. We got all kinds of great things to pass out of the Speedway throughout the season. Tonight we have what may indeed be the crown jewel for you. This is courtesy of our good friends at Mount Vernon Auto Supply and, of course, the Johnson Racing Team out of Miller, talking about Brickyard 400 posters. We've got 3 of them to give away. Don't need to tell you how valuable these are going to be and not how good looking they are either. Haul out those McDonald Land ticket stubs, fans. Looking for a ticket. 58405. 58405. And that's yours, head to the tower. 58405.
And Bob, during intermission, I'm going to try to corral John McCarnes, of course, the president of the Art Go Challenge Series. They're going to be at Lebanon tomorrow night at the high banks of the I-44 Speedway. We're going to be looking for our 5th different Art Go Challenge Series winner at the beautiful Ozarks facility. And Art Go Racing's not going to stop right there, Bob. As Sunday night, we're going to go up to the Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas.
And Ronnie, the Arco points battle is almost as close as our late model stock points battle is here at the Friday night action track and also at the I-44 Speedway.
Kevin Sewell, 17-point lead over two-time Arco champion Steve Carlson in that number 50 Oldsmobile. The rookie battle is even tighter. John Lipke from St. Louis Park, Minnesota, in that Valvoline number 3 holds a 7-point lead over Ron Breezy Jr. from DeKalb, Illinois in the 01 Oldsmobile. They're going to go at it. And I talked to John Lipke about 2 weeks ago, and he said, I'm ready to return to the Ozarks because I feel I've got a good run at the I-44 Speedway. Now, if you want information, of course, first of all, I-44 Speedway, the 135 exit off of Interstate 44, go up over the overpass, back toward Lebanon, about half a mile on the old outer road on the old historic Route 66. If you want information how to get to the Lakeside Speedway, their phone number is 913-299-2040. As the lights now go off, and this classic battle will resume. 4 down, 4 to go. And Tim Stark, the second-generation driver out of Springfield, once again to set the pace. Danny Meyer glued to his bumper. Brian Brown third, Whitener fourth, Johnny Cates fifth, and Johnny Freebie on the bubble. Here they go. Stark to set a quick pace. The green is out, and we're back to race in action. And Meyer once again now trying that high groove. That starts with the Pontiac to the low side. Meanwhile, Whitener and Brown now resume their battle for the number 3 spot. By the wild side, Danny Meyer, rim right, they're right on the top of the bowl. But Tim Stark sets the pace for the race as they come now. 5 down, 3 to go. Here comes Jody Whitener on the inside of flying Brian Brown once again. Now, Meyer is on the charge to the low side. After running much of the race on the high groove, Danny Meyer goes low. Now he's going to try high once more. Now Whitener and Brown continue the battle, while the old-timers car, Johnny Freebie, is challenging for 5th place. 6 down on the Ozarks Coca-Cola scoreboard, 2 to go. Tim Stark still in control. Here comes Meyer off of turn number 2. Down the backstretch into turn 3. The white flag is coming out for Tim Stark and Danny Meyer this time around. Only 1 more left to go. Meyer dives to the inside. Whitener takes over third. Wheel to wheel as Brown and Whitener get together. Cates goes to the high side. Jody Agricultural racing to the infield. It's a wheel-to-wheel battle up front. Meyer down low. Stark up high. Here comes the dash for the finish line, and it's going to go to Tim Stark. Meyer second. Cates third. Brown fourth. Meyer fifth. And now it's time for the Fast Dash Heat. Defending Speedway champion Charlie Johnson will lead about in car number 1, while Herb Bickert out of Springfield comes out in car. Andy Jenkins of Springfield in number 59, and Glenn Lucas is driving car 26 this evening. The I-44 super stock point leader from Miller, Missouri. That's Troy Constable back with us in 97. And Miller, Missouri's Robbie Johnson in car 00. And back at the rear of the pack, he is your Speedway USA point leader out of Springfield tonight, driving his own number 14, Wayne Lewis. And his outside, also out of Springfield, in car 14, Jim Hunt. And Charlie Johnson will bring them in nice and easy. Remember, Lewis will start tonight's Superstock feature dead last. The lights go off around this 3/8 mile asphalt oval here as we have the Friday night action track. And Herb Bickert will flank last year's Superstock champion on the outside. Row 2, second-year driver Andy Jenkins and the rookie driver Glenn Lucas. The third row, it's Robbie Johnson and Troy Constable. Lewis, your point leader, Hunt on his outside. Here they come, and Mr. Foreman says, let's go racing. And Johnson dives to the inside, but here comes Bickert on the outside lane. They're taking a wild ride by the wild side. It's Herb Bickert now setting the fast pace. Johnson looks to the inside, and watch that 3-way battle back for the number 4 spot as they complete lap number 1. Bickert in control, Johnson second. Andy Jenkins is now running in third. Bickert starting to stretch out that lead. And what a move by Jenkins and Constable as they start to close up the battle back into the third spot. But it's Herb Bickert in that Ford looking good all the way. Constable, Johnson, and Lewis. We've got a 5-car battle for the number 2 spot. 2 down, 6 to go. And Spickard stretching out that lead while Andy Jenkins now starts to make his move. And here comes the Rolla chauffeur, Troy Constable. 3 wide, the battle for the number 2 spot. Wallace Spickard out in front. Here comes Constable and Jenkins trying to run down Sergeant Charlie Johnson. Roaring by the wild side. Constable dives to the inside. Now last year's Rookie of the Year, Robbie Johnson starts to make his move. Roaring down the front straightaway with Spickard still in control. Charlie Johnson and Troy Constable now continue their battle for second and third. Robbie Johnson is also on the move as the Orange Crush team now have Constable in the meat of that orange sandwich. While Spickard still sets the pace. Charlie Johnson and Troy Constable continue that race for the number 2 spot. Constable to the inside. Charlie shuts the door down low. Troy tries that Camaro down low. Wheel to wheel off of turn number 2. The Rolla, Missouri chauffeur makes the move to the inside. While Spickard in that Ford sets a blistering pace. Constable is now on the charge. 6 down, 2 to go. And Herb Spickard looking for a win in the back dash heat has the I-44 Speedway Superstock point leader on the move as they enter turn number 3. The white flag is coming out for Spickard and Constable with only 1 more lap to go. Constable dives to the inside. Spickard's got the outside groove off of turn number 2. It's half a car advantage. Constable making the move on the inside lane. Spickard on the outside. The dash off of turn number 4. Here comes the checker flag out for Troy Constable. Spickard second. Johnson started fourth.
For a big heat race this evening, their final appearance of the year at the Friday night action track, the open wheel thunder and lightning of the Grand American Modifieds is Mark Underwood. Leads Mountain Car 15, the S&S Pallet Machine, car number 5 of Brian Kapika. A veteran of the racing game out of Walnut Grove in car 44, James Kelly Sr. Tracy's K&J Pets aboard car 66, the driver out of Fairgrove, Terry Taylor. The Athletic Quarter sponsored car 73 of Russell Graves. He is the track points leader, driving an Earthworks machine, car 91, David Bates. His first appearance at the Friday night action track is second night behind the wheel of a modified in car 3 out of Springfield, Lendell Alexander. Ford in car 10, his first night behind the wheel of a modified, formerly in the Super Stocks, Mike Couderman. And in car number 1, making his way down the backstretch, Lawrence Hayes. And the lights will go off for the thunder and lightning of the modified 6 times around. Underwood and Kapika, Kelly and Grays, Bates and Taylor, Alexander and Hayes. Cotterman rounds out the field in car 10 as they work their way down the backstretch. The late models in the staging area set to hit the track next. 9 cars. Keith Foreman looks them over. He'll say to the mighty modifieds this time around, gentlemen, let's go racing. This year, vaulting down the backstretch, but Terry Taylor on the move up to the number 4 spot and trying to make it 3 wide, headed off of turn 3, splitting Kelly and Underwood. Making his way up to the number 2 spot is the Fairgrove chauffeur, but here comes points leader David Bates, looking at the inside of Underwood and Kelly Sr. as Brian Kapika heads into turn number 4. We'll have 2 laps down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, 4 laps remaining. Down the backstretch goes that S&S Pallet Machine of Brian Kapika, the Buffalo chauffeur, about 7-8 car lengths ahead of Terry Taylor, but it's David Bates in car. Through our Grand American Modified qualifiers, Kelly Sr. and Underwood having a great duel for the number 4 position. But race leader Brian Kapika hits the start-finish line with 4 down. Only 2 laps remaining. And David Bates trying to hold in the Fairgrove go for a battle for the number 2 spot. But at the front of the pack and into turn 3 is all Brian Kapika. The white flag is coming out this time with 1 more lap to go. And look at that battle for the number 2 spot. Just previewing the modified main event as Bates tries to hug the inside line. Now goes high on Taylor. But coming off of turn 4, taking tonight's heat race checkered flag for the modified, Brian Kapika. Taylor second, Bates a close third, followed by Underwood and James.
Racing Series banner for tonight's action. Here comes our first Grand American Late Model Qualifier. Jerry Kelly in car number 44 out of Walnut Grove, Missouri. Steve Holt out of Springfield in 35. James Kelly Jr. in car number 30. Lebanon's Kenny Spud Dickinson in 21. And from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he is gearing up for tomorrow night's Johnson Service Center Arthro Summer Showdown. This is George Prentice Jr. George Prentice Jr. on hand with us all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin this evening. And we'll get them up here ready to go. Spuds will set the pace for the race in that number 21 Ford Thunderbird with Jerry Kelly to his outside. Row 2, Steve Holt and James Kelly Jr. And James Kelly Jr. right now is on the bubble for that Winston money in the track point standing. He went into tonight's action only 2 points ahead of Rapid Roy Chisholm. Remember, next Saturday night or next Friday night will be the season championship. George Prentice Jr., a sophomore late model driver from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on hand with us, getting geared up in that number 2, the Port City Racing Oldsmobile. As the lights will be shutting off this time around, this will be a 10-lap qualifier for the cars and the stars of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. Mr. Foreman has the lights off with Spud to set the pace. Jerry Kelly, row 2, Holt and James Kelly. Prentice Jr. starting in the shotgun position. Nice and easy. The veteran Kenny Dickinson out of Lebanon, Missouri, sets the pace for the race with another hardcore racing veteran, Jerry Kelly, in the 44 car. Here we go. They'll start gearing up into turn number 3. Set for 10 laps, a late model qualifier, and we're going to go race time. And Spud takes the early control, or does he? Here comes Jerry Kelly in that U.S. Automotive number 44 car, while Kelly Jr. and Steve Holt race hard as they head off turn number 4. James Kelly Jr. now is on the move, and Kenny Dickinson sets the pace. Spud's out of control, while James Kelly Jr. now making his charge in car number 30. Roaring by the wild side into turn number 3 now. Holt and Jerry Kelly continue their battle for third, while Dickinson hangs on box number 2. 2 down, 8 to go. James Kelly Jr. trying to make a run on the inside lane, and that Ford-powered Thunderbird of Dickinson now pulls about half a car length extra on the straightaway. Meanwhile, Jerry Kelly and Steve Holt need to be content to hold their battle for third and fourth. Through the corners, Kelly Jr. with a little more power on the straightaway. That Ford-powered 21 car makes his move. Coming off turn number 4 now. Kelly Jr. looks to the inside, but Dickinson holds about a 2-car length lead. 4 down, 6 to go. Kelly Jr. now starting to make the run, while Dickinson hangs on up front. Going off turn number 3. Now coming down the front straightaway. Kelly Jr. starting to gain a little more momentum as Steve Holt is now on the move. Kelly Jr. goes to the inside. Spurs hangs on the outside into turn number 3. Dickinson takes the high groove. Kelly now options as Holt gaining ground quickly. 6 down, 4 to go. Down in turn number 2. Kelly Jr. and Dickinson wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour. Down the low side of turn 3. Kelly and Dickinson side by side. And here comes Steve Holt and that McCann pretty well. Kelly makes the dive to the inside. Spud hangs it on the outside. Holt looking for running as Dickinson now puts the hammer down. As they single up, Kelly and Holt a little faster in the corners, while Spud has the straightaway power. 8 down, 2 to go. Here comes Kelly Jr. once again, and Holt now making a charge for the number 2 spot. The white flag coming out this time around for Lebanon's Kenny Dickinson with only 1 more lap to go. Kelly Jr. and Hull continue their nose-to-tail battle for second and third. Rocketing down into turn number 3. The options for the high side. Here comes the checker flag out for Spawn Dickinson. Kelly Jr. is second, Hull third, and Jerry Kelly fourth. Pulls out, and 3 of these drivers are in the top 10 of the Pacific Coast region going into this weekend's action. Ranked 9th from Rockwood, Missouri. He drives the O'Sullivan Furnace Oldsmobile, Paul Rowland, to his outside with 1 feature under his belt. He's the driver of the Howard's Auto Salvage, number 52, Lebanon, Brian Daniel. The second row, ranked 7th in the Pacific Coast region. The driver of the Hardys of Southwest Missouri, number 11, Lebanon, Springfield's Archie Griffin. To his outside, the driver of the Ball Timber, number 57, Chevrolet Lumina, out of Republic, Missouri, Rapid Roy Chisholm. He is the Pacific Coast regional leader with a perfect score of 3,600 going into this weekend's action. The driver of the Sportsman Pickup Covers, number 75, Lumina, Larry Phillips. Ought to be an interesting race. 5 cars set to go. 10 times around. It'll be Rowland and Daniel, Griffin and Chisholm, Phillips riding shotgun, and Bob. Next weekend is when the NASCAR series will come to an end, and we've got 3 to 4 drivers trying to get a trip to Nashville, Tennessee.
If you finish in the top 10 of the region, Ronnie, you and the crew hop aboard and you head to Nashville for the banquet at the end of the campaign. Let's not forget about our own banquet set to take place at the University Plaza Convention Center.
That'll be on October 29th. More information through the Speedway office or at the souvenir stand. The lights go off around the Friday night action track. Bob Squad, first qualifier, down in the staging area. And Paul Rowland, who is now getting close to being on that bubble in that Oldsmobile. He's gearing up for tomorrow night's Johnson Service Center Summer Showdown in the Oldsmobile to set the pace for the race. And we're going to go. And Rowland takes the other commander, does he? Here comes Brian Daniel now, Griffin to make his charge. Larry Phillips makes the move around Roy Chisholm. Remember now, Wallen ranked 9th. The heat races pay no points. Gets a tough defense. Sets the pace. Now Daniel, Griffin, and Phillips going wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour for the number 2 spot. And now Brian Daniel pulls away just a little bit. But it's all Lockwood, Missouri's Paul Wallen setting a blistering pace. The driver of the Bryant's Body Shop, number 52, Lebanon, Brian Daniel, now caught between 2 drivers trying to go to Nashville, Tennessee, as Phillips makes the dive to the inside. Daniel it's rolling out in front. 3 down, 7 to go. Phillips and Daniel continue their battle for the number 2 spot. But the Oldsmobile of Paul Rowland still setting a blistering pace. Phillips goes to that inside groove once again, and now up high is Rowland. Phillips down low. We're getting halfway home as Phillips rockets to the inside lane. Rowland now uses that outside groove for a little more 1 horsepower. Brian Daniel. Phillips now in control. But here comes Rowland and Daniel wheel to wheel. The battle for the number 2 and 3 spot. While Phillips sets the pace. Never count out Paul Rowland and Brian Daniel. 6 down, 4 to go. Phillips now trying some different racing lines in that 75 machine. While Rowland and Daniel, Griffin and Chisholm have a nose-to-tail battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. With Phillips in control. Now it's Archie Griffin and Brian Daniel going at it, hammer and toe for the number 3 qualifying spot. As your leader, Larry Phillips, starts to stretch out that lead a little bit more. Rowland still holds on to Griffin to the inside, Daniel on the outside, 8 down, only 2 to go. The white flag is coming out for the 3-time NASCAR champion, Larry Phillips. Only 1 more lap to go. Phillips in control, Rowland on the second. Watch the race for third place. Griffin and Daniel touching by the wild side. Here comes the race for third. To let the flag stand. The checker flag coming out the door. Daniel third.
You think Bob Woody's going to roll them out for us? Oh, yeah. Here they come. The grassroots of area racing, the Bomb Squad. Jim Sneed lets him out in 81. Mark Henderson behind the wheel of 07. Tony Martin in 34. Rick Slide in 76. Dennis Sitton in 88. Ron Paladra back with us in car 71. Rocky Rash won a heat race last week in 77. James Bates in 91. That's Brad Phillips in 17 and Darren Red in 89. And Keith Foreman says, side by side, nose to tail. This time around, we look to start our first 6-lap qualifier for the Bomb Squad. Fast car heat races in the staging area and will hit the track next. Henderson and Sneed in row 1. Slight and Martin, Paladra and Sit, Bates and Rash, Red and Phillips. They head off at turn 3. Keith Foreman of the Bomb Squad. What do you say this time around? Let's go racing! And it's Tony Martin making the biggest move off the start as he heads up to second, as Sitton does a 360 in car 88. And he is smack dab in between turns 1 and 2 and rolling down low as the field hits turn 4, and it looks like the caution will come out. Sitton wisely fires that machine up and gets out of harm's way. This will be an original restart, which gives us an opportunity, fans, to invite you to haul out those McDonald Land ticket stubs. We got one of those mini grand prize giveaways for you. Don't forget, Ronnie's going to visit with John McCarnes during intermission this evening, courtesy of Bates Fast Time Fabrication. We've got one of those wonderful drink holders for you. And from our good friends at Russell Graves Racing, we've got one of his 73 T-shirts, and also compliments of Mount Vernon Auto Supply and the Johnson Racing Team. We've got one of the posters from the inaugural running of the Brickyard 400. Ticket number 02732. 02732. If that's yours, head to the tower and you'll become a very popular individual. 02732. If that's yours, head to the tower and we'll be more than happy to pass that out to you this evening. And it looks like Keith Foreman's going to slow the Bomb Squad down as they hit the front stretch. Make an adjustment of the field, and we should be ready to go. See if we don't get the lights turned off this time around in the first qualifier for the Bomb Squad. Looks like we've got ourselves a good lineup as the field hits the backstretch. And we'll send them around one more time. Don't forget, head to the concession stand. Grab yourself the ice-cold Ozark Coca-Cola Dr. Pepper. You want that mid-evening snack? We got you taken care of there, too. Including even a cool evening, that Chauncey's ice cream goes over well tonight. Henderson and Sneed setting the pace down the backstretch. Keith Foreman's going to look him over this time around, and he will say to the Bomb Squad, this time around, gentlemen, what do you say? We try it again. Mr. Foreman obviously did not get his Chauncey's ice cream tonight. He is not in a very good mood. Well, I tell you what, tomorrow evening, the Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout will take place at the I-44 Speedway. Some 40 drivers have pre-entered, which would be an ARTCO record in the Ozarks. Gates will open at 4. That's when the ARTCO stars and cars will hit the track for practice. Time trials at 6. And boy, when you get to the Speedway tomorrow, you want to pick up that driver entry list, which will allow you to write down all the driver qualification times and who wins the preliminary events and that type of thing. And also, of course, Ronnie, I tell you what, this is gorgeous. John McCarnes has got to put together, talk about that souvenir yearbook.
They'll be on sale tomorrow night only. That'll be tomorrow night only will the Orco yearbooks be on sale. Bob, the lights are off. We're about set for the first qualifier.
Mark Henderson having some problems headed to the pits. The lights are off to the Bomb Squad. Let's go racing! And like a bull of Jim Sneed out front, but here comes Bates on the low side, Slide on the high side. Phillips also on the move, cracking the top 5. Sandwiched between Red and Barton. He's up to that number 3 spot already. As the Bomb Squad heads down the front stretch with a lap down. 5 laps remaining. It's Sneed 1, Bates 2, Phillips really on the charge up to the number 3 spot. Sitton's looped 88 again between turns 1 and 2. He's got the tires smoking and that 88 machine is underway. We'll have 2 down, 4 laps remaining, and David Bates is taking the lead from Sneed. Phillips looking to overtake the chauffeur of car 81 for second. They're dueling on the high side of the track, and Sneed smacks the wall and almost rams Rocky Rash. But it's Bates in car 91 headed down the front stretch. Halfway through the first qualifier of the evening for the Bomb Squad. Phillips second. Rash now challenging Sneed for the 3 spot. You need to be in the top 6 to get your point average and work your way into the inversion. Bates, Phillips, and Rash are top 3, followed by Sneed, Darren Red and Polandra. Now Rick Slide in 70-60, odd car looking in to work his way into the inversion. But it's Bates, about a 2-car length advantage, spins it down the backstretch. And Keith Foreman has got the white flag rolled up this time as Bates heads into turn 4. The white flag will fly, and he's only got 1 more lap to go. Bates 1, Phillips 2, Rocky Rash 3. Sneed, Red, and Polandra, your top 6. Slight trying to move into the inversion. And now the battle for the lead with Bates and Phillips. They're taking it side by side with a quarter and half a straightaway to go. Down the front stretch, the checkered flag will fly for Bates. Phillips 2. Rash comes home in the number 3 spot. Sneed 4th. Red 5th, and Polandra in the qualifying race of the evening. Here's the fast car heat race for the Bomb Squad. Your attention in the pits, please. Superstock A feature. First call to the staging area. Superstock A feature to the staging area. Don Scroggins leads him out in 0-3. Bolivar's Jerry Ballinger in car 40. Cleo Jasper in 93. Charles Dinwiddie makes it out in car 51. Stacy Hall in 14. Bill Pillmore in the Snap-on Tools car 53. John Reppert in 99. The big Ford of Gary Klossner. Defending track champion and track points leader in car 97, Jeff Richardson. And out of the Raleigh area, I believe it's his first appearance at the Friday night action track this year, competing very well at the I-44 Speedway in the Century 21 car 02, Larry Pruitt. As the lights go off, 10 cars, 6 times around in the fast car qualifier for the Bomb Squad. Scroggins and Ballinger in row 1, Dinwiddie and Jasper. Hall and Pillmore, Reppert, Klossner, Pruitt, and Richardson. Keith Foreman, fast car, heat race for the Bomb Squad. What do you say? We go racing! And as they dive into turn 1, it's Scroggins in 0-3. Jasper in the number 2 position. Ballinger hangs on to 3rd. Stacy Hall in the number 4 spot as they shuffle for 5th with Klossner, Pillmore, and Richardson. Ballinger now challenging Jasper's 93 for the number 2 spot. We'll have a lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Ballinger still 2nd, but Jasper on the low side trying to move up a spot. Stacy Hall 4th, Pillmore 5th, Richardson 6th. And it looks like Gary Klossner off the pace in car 15. As the field heads off of turn 4, Klossner to the pits. The battle for the lead in 3 wide. Scroggins your leader in 0-3. Ballinger in 40. Jasper in 93. Hall gets her sideways and almost smacks the turn 2 wall. Pillmore now trying to slide by Ballinger and up to the number 2 spot, challenging Scroggins. They'll hit the front straightaway now with 3 laps down. Halfway through the fast car qualifier, and High Groove Richardson on the move in 97. As Scroggins slows down the backstretch, Bill Pillmore, your new race leader. But check out High Groove Richardson in a sandwich in the middle groove. We'll have 4 down, 2 laps remaining. Pillmore 1, Scroggins 2, Richardson 3, Ballinger in the number 4 spot. And now Richardson, Ballinger, and Scroggins make it 3 wide as Pillmore starts to pull away. You need to finish in the top 6 as the white flag will fly this time around with only 1 more lap to go. And down the front stretch, Jasper and Reppert get together. Doing the agricultural racing, Scroggins smokes the tires in 0-3, and that will bring out the caution flag. Only 1 lap remaining. Well, if you have a white Ford Mustang license FXH324, FXH324, your lights are on. Oh, 5 down, 1 remaining. We will check the coordination of Keith Foreman again. He will have to throw the white and the green together. What do you say we go ahead, Russell Graves t-shirt to pass out to you, and also from Bates Fast Time Fabrications, we got one of those cup holders for him. Boy, that would be great. You can even, when you go purchase yours or Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper Bottling Company products tonight, you can stick that cup right in there too. Haul out those McDonaldland ticket stubs. Ticket 58411. 58411. That's yours. Head to the tower. 58411. The lights will go off. I don't know. Can we do it together? White and green together. He's had all season to practice. We'll check out his coordination as he now displays the green flag. Bill Pillmore 1. Jerry Ballinger 2nd. High Groove 3rd. Larry Pruitt up to the number 4 spot. Dinwiddie is 5th. Stacy Hall 6th. Stick around for a very special, I believe, interview during intermission. Down the backstretch, it's Pillmore and Ballinger. It'll be white and green together. Keith Foreman, let's check out the coordination of the bomb squad. Oh, boy. I got a funny feeling it won't happen this time. Mr. Foreman, we're going to give you a couple more moments to think about this. As Pillmore will lead the field down the front stretch. And during intermission as well, you might want to head to that concession stand, grab yourself. Boy, chili dogs would go great on a night like this. Got nachos, got the French fries with the cheese on them. All kinds of wonderful stuff. Got racing videos, cost you $12 right next to the tower, right below the tower. You can go ahead and sign up for that. And, of course, racing action tomorrow to be videotaped as well. Here they go, the lights off. That slow, methodic, hourglass, sundial pace of the bomb squad with 5 down, 1 remaining is green and white together. Pillmore, Ballinger, Richardson, Pruitt, Dinwiddie, Hall, Jasper, Reppert, and Scroggins. The lights off with 1 lap remaining. Keith Foreman looks them over. Check out that coordination, fans, with 1 more lap to go. And High Groove got the jump on Ballinger. Can he catch up to Pillmore in 53? That's your defending track champion in the number 2 spot. Pillmore's got to hang on for 2 more corners. As they head now off of turn 4, the checkered flag will fly, and it'll fly for Bill Pillmore. Ballinger second, Richardson third, Pruitt fourth. Did be out of trouble at that track on Sunday, Ronnie. I'm going with the driver who's probably going to change teams at the end of the year, former Ozark standout Kenny Schrader.
And here comes our first of 4 features this evening, led out by that beautiful Bill Roberts 95 Beretta Z26, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Super Stock A feature, 20 times around the Ozarks Action Track, and Bill Roberts Chevrolet right here in Bolivar, Missouri, open till about anywhere from 1 to 4 tomorrow afternoon before you head to Lebanon. And here's tonight's starting grid. Danny Meyer will set the pace for the racing car number 21 with Tim Stark to his outside in 52. Row 2 will be Brian Brown with Jody Whitener in 18. The third row, Steve Bias in 79. Johnny Cates in 94. The fourth row, your defending Super Stock champion out of Miller, Missouri, Sergeant Charlie Johnson in car number 1. And Herb Spickard, who looked so good in the qualifier earlier, car number 28. Andy Jenkins in the next row in 59. Glenn Lucas in car number 26. The next row will find last year's Rookie of the Year, Robbie Johnson in 00 to his outside, looking for another Speedway USA win from Rolla, Missouri, Troy Constable in 97. Jim Cates out of Bolivar in car number 91 with Jim Hunt to his outside in 15. The next row, the notorious Freebie brothers in the old Fairground Speedway days. Johnny Freebie is driving the old-timers car with Wayne Johnson back with us in car 0. Back at the rear in the number 75 car out of Springfield, that's Teddy Thomas, and he is your Speedway USA point leader. Last week's feature winner in car number 14, Wayne Lewis. As our Bill Roberts pace car heads back into the pit area, the lights will go off. This will be a 20-lap Super Stock A feature. And last year's Ozarks Coca-Cola Bomb Squad champion, Danny Meyer, to set the nice, easy pace. Remember the run that him and Tim Stark had earlier this evening. Brian Brown, the next row, row number 2, along with Jody Whitener. We've got Bias along with Kate, and it looks like Keith is, well, we thought he was going to let him heat the tires up just a little bit, but the yellow coming out real quick. And evidently somebody with a little bit of fluid may be dumping out. Let's see, Mr. Foreman, will you this time be shutting the lights off? And Leo says, I believe everything's okay. No.
Someone may be missing a gas cap. Of course, tomorrow evening, yeah, someone dropped a gas cap. That's going to bring out the red flag to stop the field down the front stretch. Pit gates will open for the drivers tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Practice starts at 4. Artco cars only get in at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Artco practice starts at 4. Time trials at 6. Racing competition starting.
He did have to go in the pits to do that. Looks like the crew's got it back on, but the man that was going to sit on the pole will now have to start dead last as the lights are off, and it's going to be Tim Stark setting the pace for the race, flying Brian Brown down to his outside. Keep your eyes on that second row. George Whitener in car number 18. Been looking real strong this year. Bias in row number 2. Here we go, Mr. Foreman. Looks to field over. The green is out, and we're back to race selection. And Tim Stark looking for that first feature win of the season. Takes the out of control, but the 3 right off turn number 2. Bias trying to squeeze by the wall side. It's Whitener down low, Bias on the high side. And here comes Sergeant Charlie Johnson in that number 1 car. Lap number 1 goes on the Ozarks Coca-Cola scoreboard. And Tim Stark sets the blistering pace. Johnny Cates and Sergeant Charlie now going wheel to wheel for the number 4 spot. As you see Troy Constable and Lewis making their way to the front. Coming off turn 4, Stark goes high. Here comes former Bomber champion Bias to the inside as Johnson makes his assault to the front. Bias on the low side. It's Stark on the high side. Now Johnson and Whitener make their move, wheel to wheel down the back straightaway. Troy Constable is now on the charge in that Camaro as they come off turn number 4. Steve Bias now, your new pace setter, starts from the second, and here comes Charlie. Jody Whitener right with last year's Superstock champion as Constable now working his way up to the number 5 hole. It's Bias now stretching out the lead as Brian Brown gets hung up on the high side. Charging Charlie now goes up to that number 2 spot. And Wayne Lewis caught in traffic in the middle. There's a 3-wide battle for the number 3 spot. Constable low, Whitener in the middle. Start going by the wild side. Oh, and Tim Start takes a wild ride on the wild side. And that's going to bring out the yellow flag. Tough break.
And the entrance to turn 3. And Steve Bias looking for his first Superstock win, former Bomb Squad competitor. As Tim Stark takes a high line and heads to the pits in car 52. But Bias looking for his first Superstock win, leads the way. But right on his bumper, part of the Orange Crush gang out of Miller, charging Charlie Johnson. And the points leader at the I-44 Speedway came over a couple of weeks into the season here at the Friday Night Action Track and enjoyed an awful lot of success in car 97, that Troy Constable. Jody Whitener moves up in the 18 machine with 4 laps down in our first feature of the evening, set for 20 times around. The Modifieds will hit the track next. Then the Pacific Coast region cars and stars of Grand American late models, and saving the best for last, the Bomb Squad. Teddy Thomas goes to the pits in car 75. Looks like we need to make one more move to the field, and our chief steward, Bruce Hanley, will try and catch that down the back stretch. There we go. Looks like rookie contender Jody Whitener had some problems in that 18 machine. He'll get saddled in. And we'll get situated behind the 1 machine, I believe, of Charlie Johnson. We should have ourselves a pretty good lineup. Well, Ronnie, Steve Bias had a lot of great runs for the Bomb Squad, now leading the way, but he looks in that rear view mirror. He's going to see an awful lot of experience and find some orange.
Oh, I tell you what, Bob, he's got a lot of heavy hitters coming up behind him quickly. And remember, Bias, it was 2 years ago, he was the Bomb Squad champion. Set out a full season, got this Superstocker back together, and he's got last year's Superstock champion glued to his bumper. And Jody Whitener out of Springfield, another great run in car 18, and the I-44 Speedway point leader, Troy Constable, locked in 4th, and last year's Rookie of the Year, Robbie Johnson, rounds out your top 5. We've got 4 down and 16 to go, and Bias looking for that first ever Superstock 8-feature win. Charging Charlie glued to his bumper. They gear up, and Mr. Foreman says, let's go racing. And Troy Constable makes the charge to get around Whitener for 3rd. But it's all Steve Bias in the Wayne's Auto Sales, number 79. And here comes Johnson on the move. Down by the wild side, Lewis and Danny Meyer. And keep your eyes on Danny Meyer. He's driving like a man possessed in car 21, but it's still Bias out in front. Meyer, who had to start dead last, right now is perhaps the fastest car on the speedway, caught in the middle of traffic. By the wild side, they head to turn 3. Johnson now looks to the inside. Bias runs a high groove as they come roaring down for lap number 6. It's still Bias in control. Bias 1, Johnson 2, and here comes Constable. The man that won the back dash heat earlier this evening has now got right behind Charging Charlie. It's a 3-car trainer, isn't it? Troy dives to the inside. Charlie's hanging on the outside, and it's a wheel-to-wheel battle for the number 2 spot. Robbie Johnson lurking in the shadows as Meyer once again tries to make his way around while Bias hangs on. The driver of that Steak and Shake Camaro, Troy Constable, has been making his charge to the front quickly, and Robbie Johnson now hooking up with Charlie. The top 4 pulling away. inside. Constable dives to the inside. Bias goes on the outside. Wheel to wheel. They rock it by the wild side. Who's going to get the faster lane? Bias has been hooking on the high side. Constable dives down low. Cates now spins to the infield, and that'll bring out the yellow flag.
And under the caution, you go back to the last completed lap, which would put Steve Bias out front and Troy Constable running in the number 2 position. But boy, that Steak and Shake Camaro of the Rolla chauffeur and the Lebanon Superstock points leader has really been running strong. But a couple of cars you need to keep your eye on. So we've got 8 down and 12 laps remaining on that Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Both started in the rear of the field. Danny Meyer in car 21 and the Cameo Carpet sponsored car number 14 of Wayne Lewis, who dating back to last week in Bolivar and Lebanon is looking for feature win number 3 in a row. But for now, the points lead, or rather the feature lead, belongs to Steve Bias in car 79 with Constable glued to his bumper. Then the Johnson clan running running 3rd and 4th. 8 down, 12 laps remaining. We get Whitener in the correct position. We're down to a 12-lap shootout, and the Modifieds in the staging area ready to hit the track next. Looks like we've got ourselves a good lineup.
And remember, the Superstocks will be on hand tomorrow night for the Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout. Well, as we look over the Ozarks Coca-Cola scoreboard, 8 down, 12 to go. Byers your pace center. Constable running second. Johnson and Johnson running 3rd and 4th. Johnny Cates with a strong run, hanging on to 5th. Jenkins 6th. Whitener 7th. Meyer 8th. Lewis your point leader 9th. And Brian Brown rounds up the top 10. The lights are off around the Friday night action track. Bias under the 8 of that yellow flag, getting back up into the front position. Is there enough time now? As you see the Johnson and Constable ready to go. The green is out. We're back to race in action. And Wayne Lewis with a great move as Jody Whitener pulls high to let him and Danny Meyer go. Off of turn 2, watch Constable dive to the low side. Wheel to wheel, they rock it down the back straightaway to turn 3. Constable low, Bias high, and coming out of turn number 4. It's the I-44 point leader, Troy Constable on the charge. Robbie Johnson alongside a Charger Charter now, and watch Danny Meyer. Meyer's got the high line working out of Buffalo, Missouri in that 21 machine. Constable 1, Bias 2, while the Johnson clan is 3 and 4. Cates now trying to hold on to a top 5, and here comes your point leader, Wayne Lewis. Lewis is on the move off the way car number 14. But what a run by Danny Meyer. Meyer and Cates together down by the backstretch, and Meyer backs out of the throttle. Off of turn number 4. Constable now opens up a 5-car length lead over Bias as we watch the battle now for 5th. Lewis, who started dead last, they're trying to 3 wide, but Meyer, that high groove now starting to go away. While Constable stretches it out. Bias holding on to a strong second place run, but watch this 4-car race for the number 5 place. It's Lewis, Cates, Meyer, and Jenkins all going nip and tuck as Meyer and Cates now race for the number 6 spot. We're heading for lap number 13 as Whitener makes it back out now in the 18 machine as they start to string out. It's Constable all by himself, but here comes Robbie Johnson. While your point leader, Wayne Lewis, has moved up to the number 5 hole. Meyer is 6, Cates 7, Jenkins 8, Stickers 9, Hunt now running 10th. Off of turn 4, Constable dives to that inside lane as now the battle develops for the number 2 spot. Bias and Johnson now as Robbie starts to close in on Bias's number 79 machine. While it's all Troy Constable this evening. Off of turn 4, Constable with almost half a straightaway lead. But watch the race for the number 2 spot and keep your eyes on Wayne Lewis. Wayne Lewis now into the top 5 with only 5 remaining. 15 down, 5 to go. Meyer back in 6th. The battle, and Andy Jenkins a little bit loose down low at turn number 2. He's got it rolling and back underway. brake and stalls the car down low in turn number 2, and Bob, looks like we're going to bring out one more yellow flag.
And Andy Jenkins in car 59 looping that machine on the exit to turn number 2, and he'll get that fired up. As a trunk popped up on that 59 car with 15 down. We're down to that good old-fashioned 5-lap shootout. And the car on the move now appears to be that double donut car of Robbie Johnson in the number 3 position, and moving up right on the rear bumper, Steve Bias. But the question, can anyone catch that Steak and Shake Camaro of Rolla's Troy Constable in car 97? Modifieds next, followed by the late models and then the bomb squad. And the gates will open after the racing competition. We invite you to head down to the pits and visit with the drivers, talk with them about what kind of plans they have for next year's racing campaign. Of course, talk about the sponsorship as well. Down, 5 laps remaining.
It's a 5-lap shootout, and as Bob mentioned, Robbie Johnson right now starting to assert himself, looking for victory lanes to have his first of the season. Next weekend, the season championships here at Speedway USA of Bolivar, as the lights go off around this 3/8 mile asphalt oval. Constable looking for yet another victory. He's gearing up for tomorrow night's Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout as the Super Stock, the late model stock, and the bomb squad will also be on hand. And also keep your eyes on Wayne Lewis and Danny Meyer as they're also getting geared up for this 5-lap run. Constable brings them in fast to turn number 3. The green is out. We're back to race in action. Hunt now starting to assert himself in car number 15. Now Wayne Lewis sets his sights on the car he drove last weekend to victory lane. But it's all Troy Constable by a second, and here comes Robbie. Now Lewis goes to the inside of Charger Charlie. The battle now for 4th place. Lewis low, Johnson up high as Charlie hung out on that high side with Wayne Lewis powering to the number 4 spot. Brian Brown off the pace in car number 2. Down the front straightaway, Lewis and Johnson continue the battle, while Robbie Johnson now making a run at Bias. Steve Bias, a strong run this evening in car 79 out of Everton, Missouri, while Johnny Case and Jim Hutt continue their battle back in the middle of the pack. Dwayne Johnson out of the action, coming down for lap number 18. It's all Constable as the battle goes on for 2nd and 3rd now. Robbie Johnson dives to the inside. Bias stays on that high side, while Lewis is now 4th, Johnson 5th, and here comes Danny Meyer. Meyer trying to salvage a top 5 finish as the white flag is out for Troy Constable. Only one more lap to go. Robbie goes to the inside. Bias stays on that high scoop. Now for the number 2 position. Going into turn 3. He sets it up on the middle groove of turn 4. The checkered flag out for Troy Constable. Bias 2nd, Johnson 3rd, Lewis 4th, Johnson running 5th.
And following with that Camaro. Number 97, as the helmet is off, the safety harness is unstrapped. He's going to drop the window on that Troy Constable.
Here from Raleigh to here, but it's well worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. It's been a long time since I won. I've been having a lot of trouble here lately with my ignition system, and I've been on 7 cylinders for about 3 weeks, and it's just about to drive me crazy, but I think it's fixed now.
You've been running 7 cylinders, and the way you've been finishing the top 5, I hate to see what you're at with at 8. You even told me it was still missing a little bit tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not quite right, but we're still tuning on it, and we'll get it figured out by tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, it's a points race at the I-44 Speedway. Tom Klaus, your running buddy, as we call you guys, the Raleigh connection up there, not with us tonight. I guess he's getting geared up and ready for tomorrow night's Artgo show.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite why Tom didn't come down here. I thought he was going to be here, and he didn't show up. We didn't have any trouble, but I'm sure he'll be fast tomorrow night, as well a lot of other cars. And I always do good when Art goes there, so hopefully I can get another one.
We talk about this. The Super Stalkers, we like to start the show off with you guys. Great racing each and every week. 3 wide, 2 wide, bumper to bumper all the way through. But you guys are really privileged to be on that Johnson Service Center car tomorrow night.
Yeah, we sure are. I can't really wait.
Can't wait for it. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? You send him back to the pits with your applause. The driver of the number 97 car, tonight's feature winner out of Rolla, Troy Constable.
Audrea Barker and David Sharp, please come to the foot of the judges.
Bob, tonight the modified feature winner will get a free fuel filter, compliments of Clushman Racing Products down in Lockwood, Missouri. And Bob, give us tonight's starting grid.
He is a consistent top 5 runner in car 15, looking for feature win number 1 this year, Mark Underwood. In the athletic corner, sponsored car 73. He knows winner's circle well. Former Bomb Squad competitor Russell Gray. He is the track points leader, but winless in the Ozarks in the last 2 months. Out of Stratford in car 91, points leader David Bates. He debuted the number 3 modified last week at the I-44 Speedway. A rookie driver, first appearance at Speedway USA in car 3, Wendell Alexander. He comes to us out of the racing community of Walnut Grove, a veteran of the racing game, in car number 44, James Kelly Sr. In the Tracy's K&J Pet sponsored car 66, out of another great racing community in Fair Grove, Terry Taylor. Making his debut in a modified, in car number 10, former Super Stock competitor Mike Counterman. And the S&S Pallet sponsored car number 5, owner of 2 feature wins this year. 1 at the I-44 Speedway, 1 here at the Friday Night Action Track. In car 5 out of Buffalo, Brian Kapika. His first appearance at the Friday Night Action Track this year, also a former competitor for the Super Stocks in car 12, Tim McCowan. Arriving with us a bit late this evening, not able to make it out for the heat races in car 22, top 5 runner, John Corliss. And in car number 1, getting a lot more valuable windshield time, he knows the Friday Night Action Track in car 1, Lawrence Hayes, as we'll let the modified scuff in the racing slick. Light will come on. We'll line the modifieds up side by side and nose to tail. And here comes the starting grid with the lights going off. Underwood and Kapika, Graves and Kelly Sr., Bates and Taylor, Corliss and Connerman, Hayes and McCowan, 15 times around. Final feature of the season at the Friday Night Action Track for the Modifieds, with the track champion to be crowned after this feature. Keith Foreman looks over the mighty Modifieds as they hit turn 3. He will say, gentlemen, this time let's go racing! And it's Brian Kapika taking the early lead as they go 3 deep with Bates, Taylor, and Kelly Sr. Kapika setting up blistering pace in and out of turn 3 in a hurry. Taylor out of Fair Grove up to the number 2 spot. Bates side by side with Underwood doing it out for 3rd. Bates will win this battle as they hit the back stretch with 1 lap down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Brian Kapika, your race leader in car 5. We'll have 2 down this time around with Terry Taylor running in the number 2 position in car 66. But it's David Bates closing in a hurry. And Kelly Sr. and Underwood battling it out side by side for 4th. Gray's running 6th, but with 3 laps down, it's Kapika. Taylor and Bates started to run away, and Taylor loose. Bates tried the high side, but didn't find any running room. He dove back down low, but Taylor slams the door shut. Brian Kapika in the S&S Pallet-sponsored car 5 with 4 down. Your race leader. Taylor and Bates nose the tail for that number 3 spot. Underwood and Kelly Sr. round out your top 5. McCowan with a strong run in car 12. We'll have 5 laps down this time around. Kapika, Taylor, and Bates side by side on the low side of the track. They duel it out for the number 2 spot. Some contact exchange, and David Bates now up to the number 2 spot in car 91. He is your track points leader. 6 laps down. Kapika, Bates, Taylor, Underwood, and McCowan, your top 5. It's Brian Kapika with almost half a straightaway advantage. And right now, David Bates hoping for the caution to come out. 7 down. Only 8 laps left in the modified season at the Friday night action track. And over the last half of the season, there has been no one faster than car 5 as the red flag comes out. He's climbing out of that machine in a hurry. Lawrence Hayes in car number 1. Safety crews got there quickly and doused the fire from car number 1. Whoa, and you can see him slipping and sliding a bit. A lot of fluid out of that number 1 machine. Final test before the Johnson Service Center's summer shootout tomorrow will take place next with the Grand American late models in the staging area. Getting ready to hit the track next there. And we'll get the modified slowed down and back into their proper alignment with 7 down and a good old-fashioned 8-lap shootout. By the way, Ronnie, we've talked a lot about the Johnson Service Center summer shootout tomorrow. 5th appearance for the Artco Cars and Stars in the Ozarks. We've had 4 different winners. We're looking for our first repeat winner tomorrow evening. Will that happen? Come out early and help find out. Kapika 1, Taylor 2, Underwood 3, Roper 4, Kelly Sr. 5, Graves, Connerman, and track points leader David Bates. The lights are off. Keith Foreman looks over the modifieds and says, let's go racing. And Terry Taylor sliding by Kapika. Terry Taylor, your new race leader. As the Fairgrove chauffeur sets his sights on the front stretch, we'll have 8 down, 7 laps remaining. Kapika hanging on to second. Roper challenging Underwood for the number 3 spot, right on his bumper. As Bates is moved by Connerman and Graves, now setting his sights on Kelly Sr. 9 laps are in the books on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. Taylor, Kapika, Underwood, the 12 of Roper, and here comes David Bates by Kelly Sr. and up to the number 5 spot. Well, Bates is dialed in, but he needs a caution flag here with 10 laps down. Only 5 laps remaining for the modifieds this year. Will this be the night Terry Taylor picks up a win? Or can Brian Kapika move by? Or how about Mark Underwood gunning for win number 1? 11 laps are down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. up to the number 5 spot. A little bit loose that time, but there I don't think is much question. He's the fastest car out there now, but is there time? 12 down, 3 laps remaining. Bates now challenging Roper for the number 4 spot. The Stratford Chauffeur to the inside in car 91. Up to the number 4 position now, trying to haul in Mark Underwood. We'll have 13 down and only 2 laps remaining this time around. It's Taylor 1, Kapika 2, Underwood in the number 3 spot. Bates 4 and Roper 5th. The white flag coming out for the final time this season for the Mighty Modifieds, with only 1 more left to go. As Bates moving by Underwood, now trying to haul in Kapika. But the checkered flag in the final modified feature of the year at the Friday Night Action Track will fall, and it will fall for Terry Taylor. Kapika second. Bates third, Underwood fourth, and Dale Roper comes home fifth. Car 91, we'll let you know about that in a moment. Fans about ready to climb out of car 66 with the helmet off. The safety harness is unstrapped. Final feature winner of the year. Bring them on out, please, out of the racing community of Fairgrove. Here comes tonight's Modified A feature winner, Terry Taylor.
Well, I tell you what, a good run for a man that knew Victory Lane and those Super Stalkers, and his first of the year down here in Victory Lane, fans. Terry Taylor, tonight's modified feature winner, and I'll tell you what, that was getting rough. That was a great move on that restart.
Yeah, it sure was. It sure worked for me.
Looked like Brian was just kind of laying back there, and evidently you seen something that was going to hook on the high side. Looked like you got out of the oil dry that time.
Yeah, got it in my eyes, though.
Got it in your eyes. Let's talk about that. A lot of oil dry down there. As Lawrence Hayes busted a motor down there and strung a lot down there. Does that affect the track a whole lot for you guys especially?
Well, when you come around there and hit it, it does, because you kind of jerks you sideways.
Did you think you burned the right rear tire off then?
Well, I was thinking I was. It was sliding sideways.
Oh, this is good. You told me earlier this year, you said this is real racing. You got away from the restrictor plate, and a great run for you. And you looking next year to go in the modifieds again, too?
Probably stay in it.
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, from Clushman Racing Products, we got a fuel filter for you from down in Lockwood, Missouri. Can you use that?
I probably could.
Probably could, fans. He's going to get, of course, and Terry, before we get ready, let's talk about your sponsors here real quick this year.
Yeah, I got my dad, Taylor Registered Belgium Horses, and Tracy's K&J Pets, and what's the other one?
He'll be looking for a lot more next year. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say you get ready to send him back to the tech area with your applause? Tonight's modified feature winner in car 66, the driver of the Shamrock Bolt and Screw Company machine, Terry Taylor.
He'll get that picture taken, and I tell you, he came out of the block in a big hurry, and tonight we will crown him as a modified Speedway USA track champion. Ladies and gentlemen, David Bates.
You waited till all this time to come down here and talk to me, didn't you?
Yeah, start of the year we were talking quite often, and we hit a big dry spell. Hopefully next Saturday at Lebanon we'll be ready for Brian Marler.
Not necessarily a dry spell, and you talked about it, and everybody's had the stopwatch on you. You're just as fast as you were earlier this year. Everyone else seems to have caught up.
Yeah, this car unloaded just about as fast as they were going to run all year, and everybody else has came along strong here in the later part of the year.
And we'll let Terry head down to the tech barn, and what does that mean to you right now, coming up from the bomber ranks and going into the modifieds? And we're looking real big next year for that in that number 91 car. You're going to stay with the modifieds or maybe move up another step?
Oh, I'm going to stay right here with the modifieds. This is going to be the class of the future here at Bolivar and Lebanon.
Well, looking good. Let's talk about these people. These are the guys that turned the wrenches. All you did was drive the car and read the magazine, wasn't it?
Exactly right. I do most of the magazine reading. I couldn't do it without my brother Bart, Dennis Humphrey, and Jeff Land. Those three guys right there put this car to the track championship.
And let's talk about the sponsors. Those are the one that also helped get you here.
You're exactly right. Turner Processing out of Fairgrove, B&J Speed Specialty, Alibi Bar and Grill, of course, Dirtworks Pavement Cars, and tonight's subsidiary sponsor, I guess, Clushman Racing Components out of Lockwood. Sorry we couldn't do it for you tonight, Mel.
Look good. You're going to be at Lebanon tomorrow night for that Art Go show?
I'm going to go down there and watch and maybe learn a few things.
Learn a few things. Ladies and gentlemen, he will be crowned at the awards banquet October 29th, the 1994 Modified Champion. Let's hear from out of the Stratford Fairgrove area for David Bates.
Boy, and a big moment, too, getting that picture taken. No one can take it away from him. We have declared him the 1994 Modified Track Champion. He's got that checkered flag behind him. He has taken more than a few this year. He's got one.
And leading them out, the Bud Light, Leckley Auto Sales, Ford Thunderbird, car number 21, Kenny Dickinson. To his outside in the U.S. Auto, number 44, Chevrolet Lumina. That's Jerry Kelly from Walnut Grove, Missouri. The second row in the McCann printing, number 35, Lumina. Out of Springfield is Steve Holt. Some strong runs. He's trying to get in the top 5 of the track point standing tonight. He is driving the IMCA Trucking, number 30 Chevrolet Lumina from James Kelly Jr. The third row. He is ranked 9th in the Pacific Coast region. He drives the Old Sullivan Furniture, number 13 Oldsmobile from Lockwood, Missouri, Paul Owen. To his outside, a rookie competitor in the Grand American Late Model Division, last year's Ozarks Coca-Cola Sportsman Champion. He drives the Howard's Auto Salvage, number 52, Lumina, Brian Daniel. The fourth row, ranked 7th in the Pacific Coast region. He drives the Hardys of Southwest Missouri, number 11, Lumina, out of Springfield, Archie Griffin. To his outside, ranked 6th in point standing. He drives the Ebenezer's Restaurant, number 57, Lumina, out of Republic, Rapid Chisholm. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, he drives the Port City Chassis, number 2, Oldsmobile Cutlass. Please welcome George Prentice Jr. To his outside, looking for his 5th NASCAR regional title, the current Speedway USA late model point leader, the driver of the Sportsman pickup covers, number 75, Lumina, Larry Phillips. And starting shotgun this evening, he's getting geared up for tomorrow night's Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout in the late model stock division. He drives the custom concrete 83 Lumina from Camdenton, Ben Newell. As our Bill Roberts takes head back to the pit area, we're going to put a little bit of heat into the Grand American late model. All the locals are going against the late model division. The lights will be going off. That action tomorrow night at the I-44 Speedway. Gates open at 4. Time trials at 6. Racing at... Oh, this is going to be a 30-lap picture for our Pacific Coast Regional Cars that start. And Bud Dickinson, can he break the winning streak that the 3-time NASCAR short track champion Larry Phillips has a hold on his home track here at Speedway USA. He rides on that second row. Steve Holt's been running straight, as James Kelly Jr. and Wallen and Griffin. They're trying to get a trip to Nashville in November. Here they come, looking for Keith's green flag, and we're gonna go racing. Remember, this weekend, the season championship. But right now, Jerry Kelly takes the only control. It's Jerry Kelly driving his brother's car this evening. As they head down for lap number 1. A lot of traffic. And you see Phillips getting together and home. And that's going to bring out the yellow flag.
That'll bring out the first caution flag of the evening for the Grand American Late Models. Steve Holt, Paul Wallen. And McCann Printing sponsored car 35. The O'Sullivan sponsored car 13, both involved there. And Spuds Dickinson taking a high line in the Laclede Auto Sales Bud Light for Thunderbird. And he will head to the pit. Not a good sign at all for the Lebanon chauffeur, who was hoping his string of bad luck had drawn to a conclusion this evening. It will be an original restart, side by side and nose to tail, with the Mob Squad set to hit the track next. And Larry Phillips in car 75, the three-time national short track champion. Well, does he have a tire going down, or you can see a little bit of right front end damage to that Sportsman pickup cover sponsored Chevrolet Lumina, so he also goes to the pits. An original restart, side by side and nose to tail. With Jerry Kelly in car 44 and James Kelly Jr. in car 30 up front. Ryan Daniel and Archie Griffin, wrapping Roy Chisholm as well out onto the track. And Ronnie, I tell you what, attrition has taken its toll early, and it looks like that string of bad luck for the Lebanon chauffeur is not drawn to a conclusion.
Tough break for Spuds, and here comes Larry back out. He'll rejoin the rear of the field. As you see, they tried to pull away that front end damage, pop the hood off. Lights will they be going off this time around as we have a good lineup. It'll be the Kelly brothers, Jerry up front, James to his outside, and Brian Daniel along with Archie Griffin. Chisholm and Reddish Jr. in car number 2. Wallen and Holt. Phillips will be bringing up the rear. Will the lights be shutting off in tonight's 30 lap late model feature? And I understand, Bob, rumors to the grapevine that might be an R&D car that Larry is running. There's a good chance he might be running this one at the Arco Show tomorrow night. Here we go. Mr. Foreman has that green rolled up, and the Kelly Brothers Racing Team out of Walnut Grove, Missouri, up on your front row. Jerry and James Jr. Keep your eyes on Brian Daniel. Last weekend, he had a rough weekend at most of the speedways. He was on the bubble in 10th. This week, he dropped out of the top 10. Archie Griffin and Paul Wallen, both drivers trying to salvage a top 10 finish next weekend, the season championship. Here we go. Keith looks them over, and the green is out. And 3 wide they go quickly, but it's James Kelly Jr. second wheel to control. Wheel to wheel, Brian Daniel and Jerry Kelly go at it for the number 2 spot. Coming down for that first lap, it's James Kelly Jr. out of Brian already with Blood Speedway USA West, and Archie Griffin and Jerry Kelly now wheel to wheel for 3rd place. James Kelly Jr. looking for that first ever NASCAR late model feature win, and he's got Brian Daniel running in that number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Phillips goes to the inside of Jerry Kelly. He looks to the inside of Archie Griffin as Daniel with a small bubble gains control. Watch him wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour. The battle now for 3rd between Griffin and Phillips. And Nolan is on discharge on the inside. Phillips and Griffin side by side. And it's Brian Daniel holding on to the runner-up buddy. But James Kelly Jr. in the A.D. McCallum trucking number 30 Lumina is on the move quickly. Phillips sides to the inside of Archie Griffin as they catch up turn number 2. Phillips clears Archie now to 3rd place. Has Wallen now trying to get into the right top 3. James Kelly Jr. still on the move. That's Brian Daniel holding on. Here comes Larry. Daniel getting sideways right in front of the rest of the field. And that's going to bring out the yellow flag.
wanted to see in car 30. Running very, very strong, but now the master of the restart will be glued right to his bumper. With 5 down, 25 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. James Kelly Jr. will see the 3-time national champion Larry Phillips right on his rear bumper. Archie Griffin running second. Paul Wallen and Jerry Kelly round out the top 5. And Ronnie, no one is better at a restart than Larry Phillips.
Oh, but I tell you what, Bob, James Kelly Jr. has been turning a lot of heads since he took over this ride. Rumors have it in the pit area he might be the full-time driver for the A.D. McCowan trucking team next season. We'll find out later on during the winter as the lights now go off with 5 down, 25 to go. And Kelly Jr. trying to get a little bit of that Winston track point money. And you'll see he starts a quick acceleration by the wall side. Phillips and Griffin here up along with Warren and Jerry Kelly. Here they come. The green is out with action. Race for action. Kelly's got the bite off turn number 2, does he? Roaring down the backstretch. Larry Phillips to the low side. James Kelly Jr. to the high side. And coming off turn number 4, it's Phillips. Remember, they are ranked 7 and 9 in the Pacific Coast region going into this weekend's action. Phillips got in front, but it's not by a very big margin. As Kelly Jr. Griffin and and now Steve Holt is on the charge. Steve Holt back in the number 5 spot after being involved in an earlier spin is on the move also. Now watch that race for the number 2, 3, and 4 spot as Griffin and Wallen. Are they waiting their time out now? We're heading for lap number 9 on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. And it's Kelly Jr. getting a little high. Here comes Archie Griffin to the low side. Kelly shuts it all down low. Archie trying to get a second place finish here this evening. All did Paul Wallen. We're a third of the way home. 10 down. Here comes the race now for second place. Griffin down low. Kelly on the high side. As Kelly holds the fast lane up high, he hangs on to that 35 car. Steve is on the charge. Laying back in 5th. He's looking at the rear of that Oldsmobile of Wallace, trying to take off there as Archie now goes to the inside of Kelly Jr. It's a 4-car train. Archie down above. Kelly on the high side. Wheel to wheel. They go into turn number 3. James has got the high groove working to his advantage. Archie with that Dave Bamble horsepower. Kelly hanging on track. He lost. Steve Holt makes his move now. It's the McCann 20 over to Steve Holt going to the inside of Paul Wallen. The race now for the number 4. Meanwhile, Jerry Kelly and Roy Chisholm are also on the move. We've got 14 down. We're approaching the halfway point. And Larry Phillips out in front in car 75. But watch this hard race for second place. Shut the door. Wallen and Holt continue to go nose to tail back to 4th and 5th. Phillips still looking strong. And watch the 4-car train as Archie tries to get over that second place running. Kelly Jr. has 3 years for the Hard Ice Art World Challenge Series race, and tonight could be a big morale booster for the driver from Walnut Grove. With Phillips about a Wallen and Holt continuing that hard battle for the second place honors this evening. Track points very important right now as Griffin and Wallen are right there as our Brian Daniels. Archie tries the inside once again. Kelly shuts the door up driving out of Springfield. While Phillips heads the pack, everybody keeping the line. on this race for the number 2 spot as Roy Chisholm on the move also. Archie down low has been to a pull to the infield. He's out of the action in tonight's late model feature. Griffin down low. Kelly up high. They continue to go. Archie tries it. Him and Kelly in there. And the driver of the Harding Chevrolet sends it to the infield. Griffin continues underway as we remain under green flag conditions. 21 down, 9 to go. Now Paul Wallen has moved up to that number 3 spot. Griffin trying to stay on the lead lap. Keep the run on up down to Phillips. And here comes Wallen now. Second place money. 22 down, 8 remain. Kelly and Wallen, Hold and Rapid Roy are on the move. Now on the front straightaway. That old Wallen once again. He's trying that inside groove. As Kelly continues to dominate on that high groove this evening. With Phillips about a full straightaway ahead of a tremendous battle for the number 2 spot. Kelly to try that high line as James Jr. continues a strong run this evening. Once again, Phillips will clip off the lap in that first pickup covered low enough. And now, as you see, Roy Chisholm has joined this 3-car battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Ryan Daniel and Jerry Kelly continue their race for position also. 26 down. Turn number 4, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag.
And Ronnie, look to the high side of turn 3. Steve Holt, head of the pits in car 35. And Jerry Kelly out of Walnut Grove, evidently with some problems in that 44 machine. And we are now down to that good old-fashioned shootout at the Friday night action track, a 4-lap duel. With Larry Phillips leading the way and James Kelly, Jr., former race leader, right on his bumper as Ben Newell will fire up that 83 machine. Down, 4 laps remaining. And Jerry Kelly's got 44 fired up. But the question is, with another top 5 run going, what has happened to Steve Holt in car 35? The Bomb Squad main event comes yesterday next. Looks like there may be some debris on the track or some moisture. That appears to be what Roy Chisholm is stopping and telling the chief steward. And he'll get that. Ebenezer's a Ball Timber sponsored car, 57 fired up. And head back into position. And Ronnie, for a long time this year, Roy Chisholm, top 10 runner of the Pacific Coast region. And with 2 races left, this weekend counting tonight's and 1 next weekend, who knows what could happen.
Remember, the top 5 in the Grand American Late Models will divide a $2,000 point fund, and it's a battle right now for the 5th and the 6th spot, and James Kelly Jr. is holding on to that 5th spot. The reason Roy is being put back into his position, he told our Chief Steward Bruce Hadley, he said there's some oil down in turn number 4. So evidently, because of the safety factor, Roy will get up into that 4th spot. But Bob, what a run for James Kelly Jr. this car out of Walnut Grove, and he has turned a lot of heads in the pit road since taking over this ride about 3 weeks ago.
Looking for another top 5 showing this evening. And he'll try and catch a 3-time national champion on the restart. Paul Wallen in that O'Sullivan sponsored car number 13 has been able to get right on the rear bumper of Kelly Jr., but Ronnie, the former Mellow Yellow Rookie of the Year, just has not been able to shuffle by the Walnut Grove chauffeur.
Well, Wallen was a former McDonald's Rookie of the Year, Bob, and remember, Paul is ranked 9th. There is no NASCAR point show tomorrow night. Next weekend will be the season finale at both Bolivar and Lebanon. Make your plans to attend for that season finale next weekend right here at Speedway USA, as we're going to wind down the 1994 NASCAR season. All right, we went through a little bit of that quick drive between 3 and 4. Drivers were in the top 10. There is no NASCAR Winston Racing Series Pacific Coast Region show tomorrow night at Lebanon. It's the Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout with the ARC cars and stars. And as we get ready for this restart, we've got 26 down, 4 to go. Fill up your pace center. Kelly Jr. running second, Wallen is third, Chisholm fourth, and Brian Daniel rounds out your top 5. Here we go. The lights go off around Speedway USA as Larry will bring them in. Nice and easy. Kelly's got Wallen glued to his bumper. Here they come. Gearing on the start. The green is not on. We're back to race in action. Now Phillips gets a tremendous jump. Watch this dynamic battle for the number 2 spot as Kelly Jr. and Wallen continue to go it. Now Griffin trying to throw out a bad finish earlier this season. Down the front stretch. 27 down, 3 to go. Kelly Jr. Here comes Wallen to the inside. Kelly shuts the door. Has Chisholm now trying to hold off Brian Daniel for 4th. Roaring down the front straightaway. Watch the battle once again. As we got 28 Wallen inside. Kelly gets in that lane. And the Ron Horsepower Oldsmobile takes over the runner-up spot. The white flag coming out for the driver of car 75, Larry Phillips. Only 1, 4, 9 to go. Brian Daniel and Roy Chisholm now going batted for the number 4 man. Well, Wallen will hopefully throw out a bad finish here this evening. The leader comes off turn number 4 as the checker flag comes out for Larry Phillips.
Art Joel, 100-lap feature winner at the I-44 Speedway. What do you say, fans? Welcome him to Winner's Circle and what he is often dubbed his home track, the 3-time national champion, Larry Phillips.
Well, it looks like it's going to be 5 regional titles for the driver out of Springfield, Missouri. And Larry, it looks like you're going to have a Pacific Coast region title to go with those 4 Mid-America titles and something else for down the shop.
Well, that'll be nice. What now we're trying to do is help all of our guys there that's up in there so a bunch of us can go down there and get some money and enjoy that banquet.
Archie and Paul were ranked in the top 10, 7 and 9 going into this weekend. And Brian Daniel down in there, I didn't see anything beyond 10th. But let's talk about tomorrow night. Is this the car I've heard rumors you're going to run at that 100-lapper tomorrow evening and try to qualify for?
No, this is not the car. This is a new car we're just peddling with here, trying to work out. And our old trusty devil's sitting on the stands ready for tomorrow night.
You've run a lot of ART-GO events. You've won 3 of them in 3 different states, Iowa, Illinois, at the Tough Grundy County Speedway, and at Lebanon. We've yet to have a repeat winner at ART-GO. You faced some awful tough competition in your career. Mike Miller, Dick Trickle, Joe Shear, and a bunch. But tomorrow night, would you say that's going to be one of the toughest races there is to make?
I think it'll be the toughest race of the ART-GO deal, which is tough all the time, but they've had about a month off, and everybody's got their car ready to go and right. So I think it's going to be a real race.
And we've been inviting everybody to head to Lakeside Speedway. And Steve Carlson is 5 for 5 at that track. And you and him have got that showdown getting set to go up there for Sunday night's action also.
Yeah, I think I've run the second every time he's been there. But or second or third. Steve's awful tough there. But I'd sure like to go back to Lakeside and win one.
And, of course, you get a free fuel filter from Clushman Racing Products this evening out of Lockwood, Missouri. And every driver likes to get those little freebies, don't they?
Absolutely. Got an air hose
We're already using it, and we appreciate those things.
Ladies and gentlemen, looking for the 5th regional title of his NASCAR career, tonight's late model feature winner, the driver of the Sportsman Pickup Covers number 75 car, gearing up for the ARCO show, Larry Phillips.
Be talking about.
We always say the best for last, Bob, and of course, we call him the grassroots of area racing. Bob L., give us tonight's starting grid for the Bomb Squad.
Jim Sneed leads among car 81, Ron Palandra in 71. That's James Bates in 91, Rocky Rash is 77. Darren Red in 89, Don Scroggins in 03, Bolivar's Jerry Ballinger in car number 40. The 51 of Charles Dinwiddie. High Groove Richardson, the defending track champion, behind the wheel of car number 97. John Reppert heads out in 99. The 17 of Brad Phillips. Larry Pruitt in 02. Stacy Hall in 14. Gary Klossner in 15. Cleo Jaspers 93. Dennison. Actually behind the wheel of car 93. Danny Meyer, former Superstock competitor in car 21. Gary Klossner's 15, Stacy Hall in 14. Tony Barton in 34, Rick Slight in 76. Bill Pillmore in car 53. The 8 o'clock. Mark Henderson. 15 times around as the pace car will take the high line and head back to the pitch as Sneed will lead the field. Off of turn 3, Palandra to his outside. 15 times around in our final feature of the evening. Side by side, nose to tail. If you're in the infield, back up. Here comes the Bomb Squad. Sneed and Palandra, Bates and Rash. Red and Scroggins, Ballinger and Dinwiddie, Reppert and Highgroove, Pruitt and Phillips, Hall and Klossner, Barton and Sinton. As the field hits turn 3, Keith Foreman looks them over. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Bomb Squad, and let's go racing. And it is Rocky Rash making a 3 wide off of turn 1. But Sneed and 81 will take your lead down the backstretch sheet metal exchange, and here comes Rocky. And looking high above the white line, diving her back down low, almost making contact with Sneed. As Palandra and Scroggins exchange some sheet metal. A lap down, 14 remaining. And Rocky Rash looking for win number 1. Oh, Jerry Ballinger out of control down the backstretch. Almost exchanging sheet metal with Larry Pruitt with 2 down this time around for the Bomb Squad. And Henderson well off the pace in 07. It's Rocky Rash 1, Bates 2, Dinwiddie 3, Highgroove 4, and here comes Klossner. Sneed has dropped to 6, Reppert 7, Phillips 8. 3 down, 12 remaining for the Bomb Squad. Can Rocky Rash pick up win number 1? Sneed and Highgroove get together. Phillips and Pillmore slide to the low side. Reppert on the binders to avoid the incident. Richardson underway, smoking the tires in 97. Reppert and Sneed also underway. That will bring out the first caution of the evening for the Bomb Squad. Take a deep breath. 3 down and 12 remaining. Ronnie, we'll see if you can't do this in one pass for us. Test the coordination as Rocky Rash will lead the field off of turn number 4. Rash 1, Bates 2, Dinwiddie 3, Klossner 4, Phillips is 5. Down, 12 laps remaining on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard, and it looks like we should have ourselves a pretty good lineup. 12 laps remaining. Rash looking for his first win of the season. Looks like we do have one more move that needs to be made to the field, and the lineup should be a correct one. Ron Paladro will pull that 71 forward. Well, the question now, can Rocky Rash hang on in car 77 and pick up win number 1 this year, or will Bates pick up a big victory tonight? And Paladro will move in behind Scroggins' 03 machine, and now the lineup is a good one. Will tomorrow afternoon, make your plans to be with us at the I-44 Speedway. Celebrate the 25th anniversary of Johnson Service Center and head on out to the I-44 Speedway for the Johnson Service Center Summer Shootout. Gates for the ArtGo drivers will open at 2 o'clock. Fans are welcome in at 4 o'clock, which is when the ArtGo stars and cars will hit the track for practice. Time trials at 6, racing at 7:30. And here we go. The lights are off around the Friday night action track. Rash, Bates, Dinwiddie, Kloster, Phillips, Pillmore, Scroggins, Palandra, and the remainder of the field. 12 laps left. Keith Foreman, what do you say to the bomb squad? Looking them over, and let's go racing. Rash, Bates, Dinwiddie, Pillmore challenging Kloster for the number 4 spot as they dial the back stretch. Rocky Rash, who won a heat race last week, hanging on to a slim advantage. Bates looking to the high side. Dinwiddie continues to run third. Kloster and Pillmore, your top 5. 4 down on the Ozark Coca-Cola scoreboard. The real battle now is 4-4. Kloster and Pillmore both running high, and Pillmore slides by the former feature winner and up to the number 4 spot. Off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway, the battle for the lead. Bates and Rash. Dinwiddie and Pillmore side by side. Henderson off the pace. That'll bring out the caution flag. Look out down the backstretch. And Sinton loops the 88. Winner's Circle interview is now 10 laps away. He just got there a little bit early. And Rocky Rash taking the high line and headed back to the pits. And it looks like that 07 car of Henderson will need some help in the backstretch. So James Bates, now the leader. He fought his way by Rocky Rash, who was taking car 77 to the pits. And it looks like that 07 of Henderson underway, but slowly limping back to the pits. 5 down, 10 laps remaining for the bomb squad. Pit gates will open right after the feature. So Bates is running in the top spot. Dinwiddie second, Pillmore third, Kloster, and then Phillips, your top 5 runners. It appears that there is a good lineup. 10 laps remaining. And Rocky Rash from second to shotgun makes it back out in 77. This time around, we look for Keith Foreman to turn the lights off. Ronnie, from your vantage point in the infield, could you see any problems with Rash's 77? Evidently not, but boy, he dove into the pits in a hurry when that caution flag came out. Bates, Dinwiddie, Fillmore, Kloster, and Phillips. Danny Meyer getting some windshield time back in a bomb squad car. The 93 machine normally driven by Cleo Jasper. Pruitt, Scroggins, Ballinger, and Highgroove, your top or second half of the top 10. As Keith Foreman looks him over, 5 down, 10 remaining, and let's go racing. Fillmore and Dinwiddie take her side by side in a battle for second as Bates shows the way down the backstretch. Kloster and Phillips duel it out for the number 4 and 5 spots. And Danny Meyer to the inside of Kloster's 4. Full S6 down, 9 remaining. And Fillmore, a little bump and down low as Bates and Dinwiddie are top 2. Fillmore hangs on to 3. Meyer smoking the tires in that 93 car. As Dinwiddie takes it high, Bates on the middle line. They'll hit the start-finish line with 7 down, 8 remaining, side by side in a battle for the lead. And they're 3 deep in a battle for 4th. Meyer losing 93. Highgroove does just that. Almost smacking the wall as Kloster and Meyer also get together. And under the caution, you go back to the last completed lap as Scroggins fires up the 03 car. That will give James Bates the lead in car 91. Well, a wild bomb squad feature. And it looks like we may only need to have a change or two made here, and we're ready for the final 8 laps of the evening. Bates 1, Dinwiddie 2, Fillmore 3. Followed by Phillips, Kloster, Highgroove, Pruitt. Line up a good one. Do we get the lights out this time around? As Meyer heads back to the rear of the field in that 93 car. 7 down, 8 laps remaining. Then we'll open up the pit gates. We invite you to head down there and visit with the drivers in all 4 divisions. Nose to tail is the way Mr. Foreman wants the restart for the bomb squad. Bates 1, Dinwiddie 2, Fillmore 3, Phillips and Kloster your top 5, followed by Richardson, Pruitt, Ballinger, Palandra, and Darren Red. The lights are off. Bates leads him in and out of turn 3, and Keith Foreman will look him over, looking for a restart, and he will say this time, no. Nose to tail is generally the correct procedure. And you don't start passing until you see that green flag a-flying. Keith Foreman will hold that green flag in the air, nose to tail, and the lights go off. Lap shootout, and Dinwiddie in car 51 had moved by Bates, but on the lap the caution flag came out. You revert back to the last completed lap. Dinwiddie has to try and make that pass again. Will it happen on the restart? As Keith Foreman looks over the bomb squad, let's go racing. And the DH Enterprises car 91 takes the lead into turn 2. Fillmore challenging Dinwiddie for that second spot. As Highgroove has worked his way up to the number 6 position, now setting his sights on Kloster. Down the front straightaway, we'll have 8 down, 7 laps remaining, more than halfway through the bomb squad main event. Bates, Dinwiddie, Fillmore, followed by Phillips, and here comes Highgroove. Richardson looking to find his way back into winner's circle. And Bates may have a tire going down as he will hit the start-finish line with 9 laps complete. And look at that battle for second. Richardson in the middle of Dinwiddie and Pillmore. Boy, can they get through that without any contact. They take it 3 deep into turn number 3. Richardson, Pillmore, and Dinwiddie. Bates out front. That's the best spot to be. As Pillmore moves up to the number 2 position. 10 down, 5 remaining. Bates gets sideways, as does Pillmore. Richardson now powering down the back stretch at 97. Trying to make the move up to the number 2 spot. And oh, here comes the contact. Headed off of turn 3. High Groove, Richardson, your news. Race leader. Pillmore second, Kloster third. Bates has dropped from first to fourth, and here comes Rocky Rash. We'll have 12 down, only 3 laps remaining. Richardson, Pillmore, Kloster, Rash is up to fourth. Can High Groove Richardson hang on and extend his track points lead? Bates and Dinwiddie really started to drop back. We'll have 13 down, 2 laps remaining. Richardson, Pillmore, and Rasher top 3. Kloster trying to make it into that top 3. He falls in behind Rocky Rash. The white flag is out for the bomb squad. And they've only got 1 more lap to go. Is there time for Pillmore, a heat race winner from earlier this evening? Or will High Groove claim another Friday night action track win? Rocky Rash sitting in third, waiting for a mistake. Headed off of turn 4 and greeting the checkered flag. It drops for Jeff Richardson. Pillmore second, Rocky Rash third, Ballinger fourth. And boy, right at the wire for that number 5 spot. Boy, he's taking the helmet off, unstrapping the safety harnesses, ready to climb up. Bring him out, fans, Jeff Richardson.
Ooh. Had to go to the rear, worked your way up. 6 and 7 of you guys bunched up there. Does it get any better than that?
No, it's fun, but I didn't like that spinning around out there.
There's a little contact up there. It seems like 1 and 2. This track's a lot different from Lebanon, especially for you guys. It seems like this is just a little bit more slicker for you.
Oh, I like this track a lot better. I handle twice as good as I do on Lebanon's.
Looking real, real good. And, of course, sponsorship, very important all the way from every class. But the Bombers, it's very, very important. You always got them real big on the cars. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, McKinney Racing here. That's Wes and Greg McKinney. They're a big help. Richardson Dairy Farm, that's me and my dad, and couldn't do it without him. Buffalo Locker Plant, Steve Allen, he's been a great help. And then Jody Lane, he's been a great help too. And then the Copperell over here, and he's helped too. They all, if it wasn't for all of them, it takes them all together.
What about it now? Looks like you're going to secure a second track championship. That means next year you're out of the bomb squad. You got to move up a class. Any thoughts about what class you might want to move up to?
I don't know. I'd like to fight, but it's just however the money is.
However the money is, fans. He is the point leader, and he'll head down to the tech barn. What do you say you give him a round of applause? Tonight's Bomber feature winner from down in Long Lane, Missouri, Jeff Richardson.
And don't forget, fans, head out to the I-44 Speedway.